Hey, Bear. Hey, Bear.
Hi, Daddy.
All right, had quite the day yesterday. Long day, and I ended up going about 17 miles when my initial goal was to go maybe 7 miles, maybe 13 miles at the most. But it ended up being a water issue. I just didn't like the water source at the 13-mile point. 7 miles ended up being way too short of a day. So I hiked the extra 4 miles, and which made it a 17-mile day. Got in real late. Didn't really eat anything except for a protein bar. Just wanted to lay down and set up camp and lay down and get some rest. But the real story of the day is I misplaced a gear item, and I've been out here almost 6 weeks, and I have a number of things that I've misplaced or lost, and that's could be a function of age, could be just me. I'm not sure if it happens to everybody, but one of the first things I lost, I had a button pinned to the outside of my pack. It was a college pin, and that disappeared within a week or so. I'm sure it rubbed up against something, and just came loose and laying on the trail somewhere, unfortunately. I also lost I had a black baseball cap, mesh cap, that I had also pinned to the outside of my pack, and about a week or so ago, I noticed that was missing. Good water source right here. Also, within days of the missing cap, I was carrying a foam seat pad on the outside of the bottom of my pack, and the day it rained, I used it. I took a side trail to a deli in New York, and I used it to sit on, to give me something dry to sit on. And I ended up leaving it there. I forgot to pick it up and reattach it, so that's gone. I can get by without any of those items. Those are, I guess, luxury items. You don't need. They're nice to have. I mean, the hat I chose to bring, and the pin, just something that was kind of cool for me to take on the trip, and the bugs are in my eyes. Okay, so Great Barrington, I got a shuttle driver to shuttle me into the town of Great Barrington, and it was $10, and I had pulled out a $10 bill and put it in my front pocket to pay him. And when I went to pay him, it was gone. It was probably because it was in the same pocket that my phone was in. It probably just popped out and fell on the ground. I don't know. So I lost $10. Yesterday, I stopped at a shelter area with a privy, and I didn't know this until miles later when I took my pack off, but I walked out of the privy. I left my roll of toilet paper in the privy. So when I went and later on stopped at a water source, a little stream or whatever, took my pack off, I noticed the compartment I keep that toilet paper in was still open, and there was no toilet paper, so I left it in the privy. So that presented a problem. That's kind of like, that's a necessary gear item. So I started collecting these big leaves that I saw along the trail because I knew I would need something. And they worked out. Now I don't know if they work out because I don't know anything about, plants, trees, all that stuff. In fact, if you put a hickory tree in front of me, I probably wouldn't be able to identify it. But, whether there's some sort of skin irritant on the leaves that I used, I don't know. I'll find out. But now I have to get some sort of toilet paper soon. So that's my lost story. Lost and not found. So I'm finding it kind of funny in a twisted kind of way that, make sure I'm going to, here we go, going the right way. Yesterday, I couldn't find a decent water source, either dry or of questionable color and odor. So I had to skip over them. And I'd say within an hour, I've crossed 4 or 5 little streams or brooks or whatever that are great water sources. So it's like, so this last one, I got my bottles filled up. I also downed about 1 liter because it's humidity's really high already today. It's going to be in the mid 80s, and my shirt's already drenched. But so water's important today, but so far the water sources have been plentiful. Could have used that yesterday. It's just the way it works out. So onward. Hey, bear. Hey, bear. Oh, shit. All right, so back there, I just saw my second bear of my thru hike, and she was just to the right of the trail, kind of foraging around on the ground. She didn't even hear me come up. So I kind of stood there, grabbed my camera, hoping that everything would turn out all right if I didn't do anything. So grabbed my camera, turned it on, and then after a few seconds, I decided to let her know I was there. So I said, "Hey, bear." Man, she looked up, and about the same time, I didn't realize this, there's like 3 cubs, I think, and the 3 cubs took off up 3 separate trees, and she took off running in the opposite direction. It's like, okay, this is probably not a good situation for me if she like realizes, I'm close to her cubs and she's not. I don't know. I don't know what bears think, but I decided to keep on walking. And the funny thing is, the trail kept going in one direction, and then about 100 feet down, it started to loop back toward that area. And I was like, oh man, this. Anyway, I didn't see him again, but it was kind of cool to see the little cubs and another bear sighting. So awesome day. Onward.